Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. Kasama po natin of course ang inyong paboritong third most favorite lawyer. Just kidding. Hindi kagabi kasi away. Sino mang greatest of all time? Puro Michael Jackson lahat ngayon. Tapos distant second, mga Beatles, BTS. Grabe yung away. But of course, Dino, thank you so much for joining us. Ang dami natin pag-usapan. Gusto kong balikan pa rin yung Lenny pa rin debate. Is Lenny really the only one? Because Kiko, Ma'am De Lima, Congressman Senator De Lima, everyone is saying, eto na talaga. I also had Justice Carpio kahapon, of course, who represents in some ways isang bayan. It looks like, he didn't say it openly, but it looks like they're still hoping Lenny will throw her hat eventually into the ring and that it's a matter of time before she becomes highly competitive, if not a front runner for the next race. So there's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of momentum, but hindi natin kayang pag-usapan si Lenny without talking about the other side of the coin, which is not one of our friends, but it is Sara Duterte. Pag-usapan natin, Attorney Dino, so what is your read so far dito sa mga hearings? Kanina unanimous na eh, di ba? Go for Gina yung Committee on Justice. How exposed do you think Sara Duterte is? And anong tingin niyo also dun sa Man Scarpio? Kinasuhan na naman yung mga batchmates ko last year sila. Sabi ni Ronald, ba't hindi ka sinama? Sabi ko, ba't hindi kayo sinama ni Sentry, di ba? So, pag-usapan natin, first, legal analysis and then of course, yung prospectus and political analysis.
Well, ako kasi last year, 215 votes, kung maalala mo, ang nagsabi impeach na si Sara based on the mountain of evidence already available during that time, di ba? Pero nung mga oras na yun, ang pinakamalakas doon, yung pagwawala niya, di ba, na sinasabi niya, nag-hire na siya ng assassin. Ang pinakamalakas doon, yung confidential funds, yung vouchers, yung sinasabi ng COA na 125 million in 11 days, no? So, yung chinichiri yung pera ng taong bayan. Pero wala pa yung mga ebidensya na bago na naman nating nakuha nung time na yun. No? So ako, ang expectation ko bilang isang mamamayan, no, tanggalin muna natin yung politics, legal muna. Eh kung yun nga, binoto niyo 215 na may probable cause at it's enough to elevate the proceedings to an actual full-blown trial, eh ano lang ito, na may mga nadagdag. Ano ba yung mga nadagdag? Yung testimonya ni Madriaga na very consistently sinabi nila na hindi nila kilala. Yung pala kilala nila. No? Nandun yung videos na Happy Birthday Sir Ram, yung video na binibigyan niya yung bandila, yung screenshot na kinakausap niya sila, yung grupo nila dun sa Inday Sara is my President movement, no? Nandun yung email na sinasabi niya na nagpapasalamat na nag-attend si Madriaga and all the pictures na si Madriaga, organisador talaga nila. So in that exchange, malinaw, kilala ni Sara, si Sara nagsisinungaling. And malinaw rin yung mga detalye na binigay ni Madriaga kung saan, kung sino, kung paano binigay at deliver yung mga pera at nagko-coincide dun sa dates ng disbursements ng confidential funds. And then dun sa confidential funds, bago na rin yung expert handwriting witness ng NBI, yung Philippine Statistics Authority certification na wala talaga itong mga pangalan, no? In other words, itong mga public records na ito ay presume, di ba? Presume to be regular, no? Unless rebutted. So kailangan i-rebut ni Sara itong mga ito. Kung hindi, eh mayayari tayo. Andiyan pa yung COA, Commission on Audit Findings, na pinapabalik sa kanya yung 400 plus million na in total dahil nga mali ang para sa kanila, these are illegal disbursements, no? So again, enjoy the presumption of regularity. And usually, yung mga korte nagde-defer sa mga expertise ng mga agencies na to. Kasi kami mga abogado, kami mga judges, hindi naman kami handwriting experts eh. Kami mga judges, hindi rin naman kami Philippine Statistics Registrars, no? And record keepers. Hindi rin naman kami COA fraud auditors, no? Who can spot all of these things, no? Kaya nagde-defer at nakalagay sa jurisprudence na yung mga may administrative agencies na may expertise, katulad ng Anti-Money Laundering Council, nagde-defer dyan ang mga korte pagka categorical and clear yung findings sila unless talagang may dubious and malinaw na may basis na hindi paniniwalaan yan ng mga korte. Having said that, yung second part is yung napakalinaw na ebidensya na numero. The numbers speak for themselves. The numbers don't lie. At malinaw yung reports ng Anti-Money Laundering Council na billion, 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 billion. 6 billion ang gumalaw, may get na transaction sa isang bangko pa lang ni Mans Carpio at ni Sara Duterte. Tapos malinaw din yung SAL and records sa sinampina sa ombudsman na wala siyang deklarang kahit anong cash, no? Eh yan, ano na yan eh, settled na yan sa corona impeachment decision, sabi ng High Court of Impeachment. Tinatawag ko itong High Court of Impeachment kasi siya ang pinakamataas na korte pagdating sa impeachment. High Court of Impeachment, sabi nila, impeachable kung hindi mo dineklara yung kaperahan mo sa bangko, doon sa dollar account ni Corona. Ito, hindi niya rin dineklara yung kaperahan niya eh. Naniniwala ka ba na yung Vice President of the Philippines na dating pagkatagal-tagal na mayor, walang land bank account? Ako, nag-consultant lang ako eh. Sa sa isang government agency, kailangan may land bank account ako. Doon ilalagay yung binabayad sa iyo eh. Tapos zero ang cash transactions, no? So legally, malinaw sa akin na tama yung boto na unanimous ng Justice Committee na meron ng probable cause. Overwhelming na nga sa akin. Sa akin to overwhelming enough for conviction kasi the thing speaks for themselves. So, the things speak for themselves. And then, ang susunod is ibibigay na sa plenaryo. Ako, malinaw sa akin. Magugulat ako, mas umonti pa. Siguro, kaya kung uonti yung boto dahilan sa natakot sila na deklara na si Sara Duterte. That's it. There is no other piece of reason or there's no other reason kasi mas malinaw nga yung ebidensya ngayong mga oras na to. At dahil hindi naman na si Chis Escudero ang hindi makaintindi ng fourth with ang Senate President, ang aking balita nagpe-prepare na ang Senado, no, at magkakaroon ng at least twice a week hearings, no, and even this May, as early as May, baka i-transmit na yon at i-convene na yung Senate as an impeachment court. So ako naniniwala ako baka by June, July nag-hearing na tayo sa impeachment court para makita na rin at masagot na rin ni Sara Duterte itong mga paratang sa kanya.
Um, Attorney Gil, gusto ko lang maintindihan. Alam ko, hindi tayo CPA dito, pero ang daming CPA na DDS vlogger biglang. Like, ano itong sinasabi ng team ni Sarah na dumadaan lang naman hindi naman hindi naman nagsistick sa account niya, ano lang siya, open highway lang siya. So therefore, dapat walang problem. I mean, what do you think about all of this acrobatics, CPA analysis, misinformation by the Duterte camp on this issue para lang
Eh,
makalusot?
ta- Tama sila ha, walang nagsasabi na 6 billion ang pera ni Sara Duterte. Ang sinasabi, 6 billion na transaction na hindi mathematically possible, na hindi sobrang daming billion ang dumaan sa iyo na hindi mo dineklara. Yun lang naman yung point doon eh. No? Hindi ko sinabing 6 billion ang pera. It's just mathematically impossible or sige, babaan natin, improbable na ang ginawa mo, wala kang magawa sa trip mong buhay na nag-in out, in out, in out ka buong araw ng pera dahil wala lang. Di ba? Ano yun? Pasok, labas, pasok, labas, pasok. Wala kang magawa. Wala kang magawa sa buhay mo. Kahit na magpasok, labas, pasok, labas, pasok, labas ka, sa totoo lang ng, let's say for example, 100,000 every day, pasok, labas, pasok, labas, pasok, labas, mahirap yata bunuin, Richard, yung 6 billion. Na pasok, labas ka ng 100, kahit 1 million. 1 million, pasok, pasok, labas. Ilan yon? 6,000 ba? Tama ba ang
Oo.
computation ko? Sagot ako,
300 million, mga
6,000.
300 plus million a year lang maano mo yan. Kulang ka pa rin.
Kulang ka pa rin, di ba?
Tama.
Yun na nga, trip mo lang kasi. Trip mo lang kasi, wala. Tapos, kung meron kang 1 million na pinapasok doon,
Mga
ang
20
presumption sa
million
iyo,
siguro per day kailangan mo, 20-30 million.
kaya nga eh. Tapos, ang presumption ha, pag may pinapasok ka doon na pera, pera mo yun. Kasi pumapasok sa bank account mo. Ang tanong, kaninong pera yon at bakit di mo dineklara sa salin mo? 'Di ba? Assuming na naglabas-pasok lang doon kahit araw-araw 1 million a day. Pasok-pasok, labas-pasok, labas araw-araw, araw-araw. Kanina yung 1 million na yun. Ba't di mo dineklara? 'Di ba? At saan mo kinuha yan? Ang tapos, meron pa palang isa, yung SEC records, no? Ang sinasabi na may mga negosyo kasi ito. Nung tiningnan yung SEC records, ang dinideclare ng mga negosyo o yung mga audited financial statements accessible, negative pa. Nalulugi pa. So, paano nangyari yun? Saan nyo kinukuha yung pera na ito? At again, bakit hindi nyo dineklara sa inyong SALN? Ibig sabihin, ang presumption ng lahat ng ito, pagka hindi nagtutugma sa batas, sa mata ng batas, pag hindi nagtutugma yung earnings mo as a public official at yung pera na hawak mo at meron ka, kung hindi man yan pera, kahit anong assets, kahit anong yaman, ang presumption under the law is presumed to be ill-gotten. So, dahil may presumption na yan, ang most effective way for Sara Duterte to debunk that is through in actual trial, mag-attend siya, hindi yung nagre-ribbon cutting siya. Kasi as we speak, this morning, habang nag-impeachment proceedings, instead na umattend, nag-ribbon cutting, nag-party, nag-attend ng kasiyahan, no? That is an insult to all Filipinos who are seeing kung paano maraming question doon sa pinaghirapan nilang pera. Tandaan natin yung pera na yan na pinag-uusapan natin ay pera na pinaghirapan ng bawat Pilipino. Pero siya, nagpa-party. Di ba? Yung siya, nag-ribbon cutting. That is an insult to the Filipino people, and that is a contempt of the shows her contempt of the Constitution, no? Konting respeto naman sa Constitution, hindi dapat binabastos yung saligang batas na ganito. Sacred, ha? Sacred, sagrado ang impeachment proceedings. At kung pinapaharap ka sa impeachment proceedings, it is incumbent upon the impeachable officials to face it, to attend such impeachment proceedings.
Na-shock naman ako. Oo nga, no. Ayan na naman tayo. Alam mo, Dino, may pagkano ka. Alam mo yung mga professor nung panahon ni Rizal, yung mga ganun, inuulit-ulit in Latin, yung mga ganyan, para talaga it-drill into your... Bro, may pagkaganon ka.
Pwede na ako magbato ng Biblia sa
Oh,
pulpito. Di ba?
ma-imagine kita nung panahon ni Rizal, ikaw yung mga top professor sa UST, tapos ginaganon mo yung mga anak mayaman na ilustrado, tapos in Latin, ginaganon mo sila.
Oo.
Ay, idol talaga kita, Dino. Dino, attorney, balikan natin tong issue na yan. So, bakit, alam ko pag nasa public official ka, kahit nga kami nagtuturo lang sa UP, you have to sign if may SALN ka, and dun you give the authority to the ombudsman to look into your assets and liabilities anytime. Bakit hindi ombudsman ang pumasok dito? Bakit kailangan pa ng kumuha ng waiver, pumasok yung AMLA, may ibang korte, and all of those things? Why not that
Well,
way?
iba pa yung sa ombudsman, no? Hindi pa kasama sa proceedings yung findings ng ombudsman kasi may waiver. Hindi natin alam kung pinakuha na ng ombudsman yung bank records. Pero yung ombudsman has the power to get that bank records because of the signed SALN waiver, no? Iba pa yan. So anong tapang ni Jervil kanina? Ako napanood mo yung opening statement niya. Grabe. No, isa sa pinakamagandang performance niya in my opinion. She was out there really rooting for accountability, and naramdaman ko talaga na chair siya ng Committee on Justice, ha? Talagang she had her acts together, and she was really very firm on what should happen here, no? Ang sabi niya, we call on the DOJ, the Ombudsman, the Anti-Money Laundering Council, and the NBI to conduct all these investigations kasi these are a lot of questions. So talagang explicit sinabi niya, ahoy, Ombudsman, gising-gising, meron kang waiver. Bakit mo hindi imbestigahan itong mga bank accounts na ito na sinasabi zero yung kanyang cash on hand, no? So malinaw yan, no? Iba pa yung sa Ombudsman. So I hope that the Ombudsman will act kasi duty nila na mag-imbestiga at meron silang kapangyarihan dahil dun sa waiver. Ang sinabi na yung AMLAC, Anti-Money Laundering Council report. So just in layman's term, no, para lang alam nila dahil po after nung nagkaroon ng terrorist attack sa Amerika, ni-require ang buong mundo na pigilan yung money laundering. Basically, yung terrorist financing. Kasi nagkakaroon ng financing ang mga terorista through the bank accounts, through paintings, through insurance, 'di ba? At saka kung ano-ano pa mga financial instruments. So, dahil na itatago nila yung pera doon, nagkakaroon rin tuloy ng financing sa mga terorista at saka sa mga hindi mga organized crime. So, yung
Yung mga
buong
Al-Qaeda,
mundo
di ba? I mean, they had presence dito sa
sa
atin sa Pinas.
Pilipinas, oo.
Unfortunately, before, yeah, some of the horrible terror attacks they
Oo.
conduct.
So ni-require ang buong mundo, ang buong mundo nagkaroon ng conference, ni-require ang lahat, no, ng mga bansa na magkaroon ng Anti-Money Laundering Act, no, na medyo uniform yan all over the world. So ibig sabihin yung practice sa Pilipinas, yan rin ang practice malamang sa iba't ibang bansa. At ang practice, pagka merong isang transaction na nagbe-breach ng threshold amount, mandated na i-report ng bangko yan doon sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas saka sa Anti-Money Laundering Council. Ang threshold sa Pilipinas, no, and I think globally around $10,000, around 500,000 pesos. So, yun yung in-identify ng Anti-Money Laundering Council. Saan na nakuha yun? Report ng bangko. Kasi required yung bangko report eh. So, ibig sabihin, every time mag-deposit ka na may higit 500,000, may lalabas ka may higit 500,000, ano nila yan, i-flag nila yan. Iba pa yung suspicious transaction. Yung suspicious transaction, pag malaki, or kahit na parang ang labo ng amount tapos hindi nila alam kung saan nanggaling. So for example, biglang may nagdeposito sa bangko mo, Richard, na from Congo, tapos ang pangalan ay Boko Haram account. Flag ka agad yun. Alam mo yun? Or sa bank account ko, yung mga weird na parang Al-Qaeda, yun yung pangalan. Kahit na hindi ganun kalaki, suspicious yung transaction, flag ka agad sa Anti-Money Laundering Council. Kay Sara Duterte, apart from hundreds and hundreds of reportable threshold amount na na-breach, meron pang 30 plus na suspicious transactions na hindi ma-explika at na batay sa unang tingin ng mga bankero, parang saan nanggagaling tong transaction na to? Parang ang tinatawag dyan, walang underlying transaction. In fact, kami mga abogado, minsan pag kami siniset up kaming foundation or minsan sa receivership ko, pag entrust yung pera, ibig sabihin, may pera kaming hawak para sa mga korporasyon, sa mga liquidation, no? Million kasi yan, no? Kami, custodian lang kami ng pera for the court, no? Kailangan ideklara namin kung saan nanggaling yung pera. So we have to what we call we have to present substantiation. Pag hindi namin na-substantiate, bigla kung may 10 milyon na pumasok sa bank account ko, hindi ko ma-substantiate yan, i-report yan sa Anti-Money Laundering Council. So yan, saan nakuha ng Anti-Money Laundering Council yung datos? Sa bangko mismo as required by the Anti-Money Laundering Act, no, na global standard.
Just for the sake of people understanding, yung sa banks, although we had Justice Carpio also here yesterday na in-explain din niya yung kanyang dissenting decision, going back to the Corona case, no? Dun sa bank secrecy law at saka yung foreign currency bank accounts, for the sake of explanation, yung mga hindi naabot yung explanation kahapon, can you explain to people ano yung mga grounds na i-waive yung secrecy law at bakit sa foreign currency there's even higher threshold? Or
Yeah.
at least presumed higher threshold?
Oo. Sa hindi pa nalilitigate yung sa foreign currency, no? Kung ano yung exception diyan kasi yung sa corona impeachment, kung matatandaan mo, the impeachment court itself refused to make it something that must be litigated. Ang question nun, ipapasapi na ba natin yung dollar account o hindi? No? Ang nakalagay sa Foreign Currency Deposit Act, walang exception. Ang nakalagay, absolute secrecy. No? Para hindi confront ng Corona Impeachment Court yung question na yon, ang ginawa nila, ang sinabi na nila, pareho ng ginawa ng Justice Committee ngayon. Anti-Money Laundering Council report instead. No? Kasi report lang yon, hindi yun yung bank account mismo. Ang nakalagay sa batas, sa Foreign Currency Deposit Act, no? Absolute. Bakit? Yun yung wisdom ng Kongreso para ma-encourage yung paglalagay ng foreign currency deposits here kasi it's good for the economy, it's good for our reserves, no? Pag under foreign, so yun yung way to
It
encourage the
stabilizes our
inflow.
balance of payment and all.
Correct, oo. So, napakalinaw na yun yung wisdom, no? As to whether or not that is constitutional, hindi pa tested. Kasi baka naman sinicircumvent ng mere law yung clear mandate ng Constitution on accountability na dapat pagdating sa impeachment proceedings, may power yung Kongreso at Impeachment Court to subpoena. So ako naniniwala, actually, kung nilitigate ito at naging nasettle ito, naniniwala ako subject to a subpoena even foreign deposits eh. Kahit nakalagay absolute at madedeclare as unconstitutional yung absolute, magkakaroon ng exceptions. Yun yung aking paniniwala. A mere act of Congress cannot circumvent yung constitutional provision on accountability. So yun yung aking pananaw dyan. Having said that, doon sa bank secrecy law for local deposits, clear kasi yung mga exceptions doon at nakalagay doon sa isang exception is in cases of impeachment proceedings. At dahil sa Francisco versus House, ito yung Francisco versus House, ito yung Corona impeachment case dati, no? Ay, sorry. Ito yung Hilario Davide impeachment case dati. Nung kinasuhan si Hilario Davide, ang sinabi, merong one impeachment a year rule. Ang question though is, when is it deemed initiated? Kailan ba na-initiate? Is it yung pag-transmit sa Senado? Ang sabi ng Supreme Court, no, na nagdi-disagree ako ng mga panahon na yon. Kasi sabi ko parang it looked like they are protecting one of their own. Binago nila. Ang sabi nila, ang impeachment proceedings is deemed initiated the moment na may nag-file sa House of Representatives at transmit yung complaint na yon sa Committee on Justice. Ano ang implication nun? Ang implication nun, yung proceedings sa Committee on Justice is already part of the impeachment process, no? At dahil part yan ng impeachment process under the bank secrecy law, impeachment processes, impeachment proceedings are actually an explicit exception to the bank secrecy act.
So where do we see things going? I mean, speaking of Supreme Court, ingat lang ako dito. But the Supreme Court just recently parang inaffirm niya yung Senate's prerogative on this issue. Can we talk a little bit about that? I don't want to say more, Dino, kasi baka
Oo.
mahirapan yung certain Dino De Leon na nag-defend sa akin. So where do you see this going from here right now? And also yung attempt, diba, ng Sarah Camp to get the Supreme Court involved again in this process. I'm
Right.
not saying not to throw sands into the wheel, but nevertheless.
Well, ako, as a officer of the court, I am duty bound to articulate my disagreement. Ako, yun yan yung paniniwala ko. I can disagree with the honorable court so for so long as I do it properly, no, and professionally, and what is expected of me as an officer of the court. In this particular instance, I feel like the court is again wrong. Kasi parang ang sinasabi ng korte is ng Supreme Court, unfortunately, in again unanimous decision, in the same manner na I thought that they were unanimously wrong in the Sara Duterte case. Ang sabi nila, discretion daw ng Senate yan for so long as there's no unreasonable delay. Sa akin malinaw kasi yung sa kaso ni Chis Escudero na may unreasonable delay. They could have. They could have initiated the impeachment proceedings. Sabihin mo maraming mga rason kung bakit hindi nila ma-initiate kaagad-agad at tama yung Supreme Court doon. Pero doon kay Chis Escudero, ang dami ng unreasonable delay. Weeks and weeks and weeks pinananawagan na, ang daming mga palusot kung bakit hindi, no? So I feel like naging overly differential in that particular instance yung Supreme Court sa Senate na as if it is the discretion of the Senate when to start. And ang only qualifier na provide dito sa recent decision is if there is no unreasonable delay. Pero who determines the unreasonable delay, di ba? And in the case of Chis Escudero, I thought that there was unreasonable delay. Having said that, ako hindi discretion ang tingin ko. Ang tingin ko, ang ibig sabihin ng forthwith, and I will stick with my definition if I were a Supreme Court Justice. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm an ordinary lawyer is as soon as ano yan as soon as practicable. Ibig sabihin, kung wala ng raso, di ba, mayroon ng puwang, ipasok mo agad dapat yung impeachment because ang command ng Constitution hindi ganito ha, hindi sinabing ang sinabi shall forthwith proceed. Hindi sinabing shall proceed when the Senate determines that it can proceed based on its own calendar of activities. Hindi naman ganun pero based dun sa decision ng Supreme Court, it feels like it is the Senate who will decide and not necessarily forthwith, but in due course. Parang ganun parang in due course, which is not the case. So I feel like this recent interpretation goes against yung tinatawag nating verba lehis, no? And ang verba lehis rule sa aming mga
Plain meaning.
tao, plain meaning, doctrine, ang plain meaning ng forthwith is immediately as soon as practicable.
Ano yung prospectus ngayon? Where do you see this going? Going to the Senate sooner than later? And I heard Associate Justice Ronald Llamas saying na medyo may 150 votes na last week pa. So baka tumaas pa yung vote na yan. At mukhang hindi kailangan ng mga sabihin natin na inducements. I'm just kidding. Mukhang spontaneous reaction ang mangyari dito. Where do we see this going in the Senate? Kasi numbers game pa rin yan. And ano bang alam natin about ombudsman? Kasi medyo uminit-unit na yung ombudsman natin at sinasabi na kakasuhan niya ng big time yung mga basically the top two leaders of the legislature
Ah,
last Congress. Yeah.
dapat marami nanonood sa iyo, Richard Million ang ano mo ang reach mo So gagamitin ko na yung platform mo ng manawagan sa publiko na
Kinabahan ako.
dapat bantayan nila yung kanilang congressman. At ngayon, sabihan na nila yung kanilang congressman na we will make you pay if you vote no. Kasi the evidence are very clear, no? So dapat may pressure diyan. Even without the pressure, I think confident naman ako that may numbers. Pero sa akin kasi dapat may walang hindi dito dahil malinaw Meron kang undeclared money sa salin mo at nagsinungaling ka at sinabi ng AMLAC billion-billion ang pumapasok. Ano pang numbers don't lie. At yung mga magno-no dito, dapat yung taong bayan pagbayarin sila. So yun yung number one. So I think talagang meron na yung votes. Naniniwala ako kay Senator Justice Ronald Llamas, no? Sa
Slogan.
kanya,
Slogan.
oo, oo, grabe yan si Ronald, marami yung mga sources di ba? So naniniwala ako pag siya ang nagsabi na mukhang mahigit 150 na kasi na-verified din ng aking mga ng mga aking mga kaibigan, no, na meron na talagang may numero, pero sana overwhelming in the same manner na 9 out of 10 sabi sa Tangeray survey, sabi sa Okta survey, di ba? Close to 8 out of 10 Filipinos would want to see an actual trial kasi pera nila yan no? So, patutuloy na yan. Ako, ang tingin ko, as early as end of May or baka first week of June, baka nagtatrial Baka nagtatrial.
as of June, no? We're looking realistically. So could maybe the month na hahabulin ng ombudsman tong mga malalaking senador. But and this is where it's like the politics comes in kasi numbers game din to eh. Kung paano yan? Hindi natin nahanap si Bato. Si Bongo nasa gray zone. Yung isa, si Robin Padilla gusto nang lumayas ng bansa kasi nag-give up na sa ating bansa.
Sana sa lalo madaling
Tapos
panahon.
yung tatay papakulong. Like, ano ba mangyari dyan, Dino? Ano ba tinitig? Ano ba sinasabi ng Tweety Birds mo? Kasi si Falsis at saka si Ronald, maraming Tweety Birds eh. Eh, yung Tweety Birds mo, anong sinasabi?
Ako wala akong Tweety Bird, meron lamang akong mga kaibigan, di ba?
Sige, mga kahit ating
May,
mga
sabi nga ng Vice President sa
friends.
kanyang libro, kahit mga ibon rin pala yun, di ba? Ano, ang isang kaibigan, may isang kaibigan ba yung title, tapos puro mga ibon rin yun. So,
Yung owl at saka.
oo, palanganan natin merong isang kaibigan. May mga kaibigan naman tayo dyan. Ang ano kasi, kasi yung Senado, the way it operates, lahat sila republic on their own, di ba? Kasi 24 eh. And sa akin yan, dapat kulang na kulang na yan kasi 24 pa noon, grumo na yung ating bansa, no? By, I don't know, may doble na yata ever since 1987 yung ating population. No? Having said that, tandaan natin na siyam lang sila ha, sa minority. Ang kailangan mo ay 16. May isa lang na bumaliktad dyan, pwede na. Pwede na, 'di ba? Eh para sa akin, sa totoo lang bukod sa ito ang tama, bukod sa dapat may malinaw na ebidensya, baka nga may bumaliktad na eh. Kasi malinaw na ebidensya, tandaan natin nung kay Corona, majority of them didn't want impeachment ha. Pero when the numbers were shown very clear, they had no other recourse but to convict, no? Ganyan rin, ito malinaw. The numbers are shown. I think they will have no other recourse but to convict. Otherwise, the people will make them pay. Yun yung one. And number two, apart from that, marami kasing levers na pwede i-pull, di ba? Sabi mo nga, pwede kasuhan ng ombudsman. Totoo naman na dapat kasuhan. Dapat nakikisama. And usually, yung mabait, di ba? Tatahimik ngayon nila Joel Villanueva, hindi na nagkaganon-ganon ng lamesa, ang tatahimik nila Chis Escudero, di ba? Ang tatahimik ng mga ito ay bakit? Alam nila may kamakaso sila eh. No? So baka naman may mga levers na makisama sila, no? Makisama sila, baka naman mapatawad sila, do what the right thing, no? Not because takot sila, pero ito naman talaga yung tama eh. Baka for once, kailangan we should keep you in your lane to do the right thing, di ba? Hindi dahil pinipwersa sila sa mali, pero pinipwersa sila sa tama, di ba? Yun naman talaga eh. Dapat minsan talaga
Wait,
pwersahin
so
sila sa
ang suggest mo, you tell them, uy, umayos naman kayo, baka may ano, kaya mag-redemption na kayo. Tapos pag boto niya, ayan, kukulungan na namin kayo after bumoto kayo. Baka yun ang
Well,
mangyari.
oh,
Baka
oh, baka
kukulungin
naman
after
ano,
bumoto ng tama.
baka naman at least dahil nag-redemption sila, nakulong hindi lang sila nakulong sila pero hindi na sila pumunta sa impyerno kasi may redemption naman.
Oh,
Pero
actually,
ito
we're
kasi as
helping
it is,
them. Ano ba? Spiritual at saka physical redemption.
oo, ito kasi nakulong na nga, mapupunta pa sa impyerno tapos
Correct.
i-hated pa ng
Correct.
publiko. 'Di ba? Ito baka hindi na sila pag-ihitin ng publiko eh, baka nga mapatawad na sila, baka nga lumamig yung ulo ng mga investigador eh, 'di ba? So ito kasi lalong pag ginagawa mo yung masama, lalo kang didiinan. Na tama lang. Na tama lang, 'di ba?
Huling tanong dito sa issue na yan, hindi huling tanong kasi pupunta tayo kay Lenny, which is really why I want you here. Ilabas na natin yung mga pink jacket natin. But
Nakita mo ba
anyway,
nakapik ako ngayon
kaya
ha?
nga eh,
Oh.
pinalitan ka, nagkamali ako, pinalitan ko yung pink jacket ko eh. Akala ko, hindi ka namang lilitaw eh. No, no, bro, huling-huling, um, yung kay Zaldi and Harry, tuloy pa rin yung ano namin eh, bet namin sinong unang uwi. So what the heck happened? Nag-check-in sa check, nag-check out ka agad. Andyan na yung Justice Secretary natin went all the way. Our President made an announcement. What the heck? And then what is the implication on this? Kasi mukhang, especially without Zaldi, mukhang mas delikado talaga si Kilay kaysa kay former speaker, no? Kasi importante yung kay Zaldi if ever gusto nila ma-implicate yung former speaker.
Well, una, let's call out the elephant in the room. No, what an embarrassment for the President of the Republic of the Philippines to be announcing this, and then mali. Bakit ba? Bakit siya pa yung nag-announce? Tapos meron pa siyang huli doon, justice will always prevail. Tapos nakatakas. what an embarrassment, di ba? And it is an indication of them not getting their acts together, no? Tsaka parang sino ba yung mga staff nila? Dapat may ma-fire dito, no? May ma-fire dito, pinayagan nila na magbukhang tanga yung Pangulo ng Pilipinas, hindi na nga stellar ang naging performance sa past years, no? Having said that, yung sa akin, para sa akin palagay lang, no? Yung kay Chis Escudero, siya mismo kasi yung naupo eh. Naupo doon sa budget deliberations. Unheard of as the Senate President being the one to really sit down there. Parang it breaks all protocol, no? Na siya mismo yung pipirma pero siya rin yung nag-prepare at siya rin yung nag-staff work, no? Parang kalokohan yun, no? And ibig sabihin talagang hands-on at may kinakamada. Yun ang walang ibig sabihin yung kundi may kinakamada siya dun sa budget, no? And then yung si speaker, no? Siya rin yung pumirma. And of course, hindi ako naniniwala na overall, 'di ba? Blind ang House leadership sa mga nangyayari. Having said that, I agree with you na Zaldico will be the crucial link. Pero hindi ko rin pinagkakatiwalaan si Zaldico kasi dahil siya yung pinaka-involved dito and naturally magtututuro siya sa mga nasa taas. Idadrag niya sila BBM, idadrag niya sila speaker, and sana idrag niya rin pati itong sila Chis Escudero, no? So even if si Aldi Philippines, dubious kasi, polluted kasi yung kanyang magiging mga testimonies, no? So I would be more comfortable in getting other witnesses other than Zaldico because Zaldico is not reliable, has the natural incentive to lie just to save himself.
Right. And speaking of, it's a very frustrating situation. So do you agree with the suportahan ba natin si Senator Robin Padilla na nalayas na siya kasi wala na siyang pag-asa sa sistema? Are we at that stage, Dina, na we have to fully support our great senator?
Well, nagtataka lang ako na wala ng pag-asa na sistema nung number one siya, no? Di ba? Nag-number one siya na wala ng pag-asa na sistema. He is a senator of the Republic of the Philippines. What is he doing to actually improve the system, no? Yung performance niya
Marami
talaga.
din oh. Dahil sa kanya walang nanalo na artista nung last election.
Di ba? Oo. Kung magsusuklay ka ng bigote, sabi ko nga, baka sa lalong madaling panahon. In fact, papasensya na si Senator Robin Padilla, I think that's gonna be his greatest contribution to nation building. Him leaving the country and actually relinquishing his office as a senator because he is non-performing, nakakagulo pa siya, at mga instances na may sinasabi siya, laging against principles of law, laging against all the kind of ethics we want from our public officers at mukha kasing sinisweldohan siya para maging defender ng mga Duterte instead of the national interest of the Republic of the Philippines. So sana sa lalong madaling panahon, no, siguro pwede tayo mag-suggest at mag-send sa kanya ng mga listahan ng mga bansa na pwede niya puntahan kasi pinag-uusapan natin kanina na yung mga paborito nating bansa, bago pa
Si Tatay
nag-COVID.
Digong, samahan niya si Tatay Digong, di ba? Ano
Pwede
siya?
rin. Pwede rin kasi kahit naman sunugin siya,
Amoy
magkaamoy
digong pa
Duterte
rin
pa rin
siya.
naman.
Yeah, kaya nga he needs yung amoy digong. He needs that aura and all. At sana
Mm.
isama rin niya si Bato all the way para i-ano niya na doon sa detention center. Might as well. Walang iya talaga yung Bato niya. Sinisweldo pa rin.
So, sweldo pa rin, tapos ibalik na lang daw, tapos okay na. Hindi ganun yun ha. Ito naman si Jinggoy Estrada di ba? Na parang sinasabi, pwede na raw siguro pag binalik. Hindi, you're missing the point. It's not just the payment. It's him being absent as a senator. Not because we are paying him to be while he's absent. It is his absence that is the issue. Even if he does not receive his emoluments, he's still absent. It doesn't cancel out the fact that he's absent. And therefore, that is the very point of why there should be a disciplinary action.
Galing talaga ng mga pag-iisip ng ating mga senador, no? Talagang ibalik na lang sweldo, pwede na. You can get away with anything.
Diba?
Okay,
Pag empleyado ba ganon? Absent ako bukas ha? Awol. Ay,
wag na
hindi.
lang ako.
Babalik
Hindi
ako
na,
ng sweldo
hindi
ko.
ako ipasahod, mga ganyan.
Oo. Hindi ko na babalik yung sweldo ko. Wala na yung awol-awol na yan. Tanggal ka pa rin. Awol ka eh. Oo, di ba?
Pero pag binalik mo yung sweldo mo, pwede ka na magreklamo. Bakit? Binalik ko nga, di mo nga ako binayaran eh. Ikaw pa nga hindi nagbayad sa akin. Tapos awahin mo pa. Ako
Oo
lang na
nga.
yung ano, di ba? Ito
Oo
na,
nga.
ito na huling part. Pero actually, ito yung dahilan na in-interview kita today. Sa, Attorney Dino. So where do we stand on this Lenny debate? Is she really the only one? Or are there other options? Or as I suggested, actually, if she doesn't run, she'll still be the important factor to decide sino yung mga standard bearer. Ang suggestion ko is, if she's not gonna endorse someone else, she should endorse a process by which someone else will be chosen. And I think that's really the best thing that could happen for the pink movement.
I am still wishful thinking and I'm still hoping because I really think and I having the rare privilege of seeing Vice President Lenin Robredo up close during the 2022 elections and even earlier than that, no. I honestly believe that the Philippines deserve that kind of leadership na wala kang masasabi, masipag, sabi ko nga right from the very start, si VP Lenny, yung kampanya, siya mahuhuli sa kwarto at siya maunang darating doon sa venue kung saan dapat mag-meet. No? 1:30 a.m. ando na siya ng mga 5, 4, nakapostura na, no? And she is very hardworking. Ang layo ng tanda niya sa akin, pero yung katawan lupa ko, gusto na mag-give up. Pero si Lenny, VP Lenny, nandoon, no? So she's very hardworking, she's very dedicated, she's into public service, her heart is in the right place, ekonomista, matalino, abogado. I really honestly think that she is the best person to lead our country. Having said that, hindi rin naman ako naniniwala na siya lang ang sagot, no? Ang sagot actually, no, not a single personality. It's our collective effort as a nation to fight for our country and to choose to make difficult choices, no? Ano yung mga difficult choices na yan? Hindi pwedeng naghahanap tayo ng as if pure na wala tayong criticisms. Because even Lenny Robredo, we may have all our criticisms against her, even I, no? Meron ako mga things na pwede kong sabihin, di ba? Na parang ito sana, ganito sana, ganyan sana, no? Pero we are all imperfect human beings eh. And ibig sabihin yan, ang sagot hindi dun sa almighty person na almighty God na gusto mong gawing presidente. Hindi. Ang sagot nasa taong bayan looking for an alternative if just in case, 'di ba? Just in case. Whoever that alternative may be. Maybe Lenny Robredo, it may be Lisa Ontiveros. Bias ko lang talaga at this point is VP Lenny Robredo, no? Apart from the fact that she has the numbers, I've seen her up close, no? At pasensya ka na Richard, pero naniniwala talaga ako na she will run. Bakit? Kasi seeing her up close, she will not say no if the country needs her. And she will not say no to making sure that she will do her very best, no, for the country. I know that she loves Naga, but Naga will also largely benefit naman sa kanyang presidency, no, kung presidente siya. So para sa akin, hiramin na lang siya ulit sa Naga. So ewan ko kung alam ko sinasabi niya wala siyang balak ngayon, hindi daw siya tatakbo. Yan yung desisyon niya ngayon, no? Pero when there is a need, ang lagi ko sinasabi, VP Lenny is mission ready. That's just me and my impression, no? I might be wrong, but I have no doubt, zero, na she is the kind of person na mission ready. Lahat sa kanya ito mission eh. Pati naman yung pagmamayaro niya ng Laga, mission. At kung ang mission, hindi naman dinedefine ng tao eh. Ang mission dinedefine ng circumstansya at pangangailangan. At kung may pangangailangan at may circumstansya, I think, I have no doubts, Lenny Robredo will respond to the mission.
Para ka ng presidential spokesman ang ganun na tayo ngayon Ay, ano ako, para no doubt, ganun Alam mo yung mga ganun, strategic communications, ticking all the boxes. But, okay, but what would make her run? Kasi, syempre, ayun ng tao na naman, last minute na naman, na hintayin natin hanggang next year. Although I would completely understand that kasi she wants to focus on Naga, 1 year pa lang siya mayor, sinasabi niya yung bureaucracia, ang daming issues, gusto niya ibalik yung golden era ni Jesse Robredo governance, etc. So baka Lenny's point of view is, wag niyo ako i-rush. If this is meant for me, maybe next year I'll decide. Yung iba naman point nila, wait lang, na naman tayo, hintayin na naman tayo hanggang next year. By that time, baka recover na naman tong mga DDS. They have been preparing for this for the past decade, basically, since Digong has run. So Sara was always expected to be next in line. So silang may makinarya, may presence and everything. We cannot wait again. So how do you square that circle? Are you saying that before before the end of the year, we might indeed have Lenny making that decision? And what could trigger that decision
Right
making?
after the election, I was in a forum in New York where Lenny Robredo was the keynote speaker, no? Ang tinatanong ng tao, tatakbo ka ba ulit? Ang sagot niya, if kailangan, if the circumstances will, sana hindi na, pero if the circumstances will require it, then I will consider it. At ang sabi niya, meron daw siya isang lesson sa previous election. Sabi niya to ha, naalala ko to, I was there. Ang sabi niya, natuto na naman ako, hindi masyadong late. And I feel like, hindi late. Masyadong late, ina-agree niya na masyadong late yung last time. So ako naniniwala ako tatakbo siya, having seen her in that particular mood. At alam mo, ang gusto kong sabihin, di ba, kung ako, ito na kasi, nag-bear fruit na yung efforts ng Pink Movement, ni Vice President Lenin Robredo, tayo lahat ng members of opposition, including me, I was very active in the campaign, lahat tayo na kampanya, nag-bear fruit na yung 2022 eh. Ito na yun. Hindi naman overnight eh, di ba? So lahat ng alam ko mahirap yung ginawa ni VP Lenny. Alam ko masakit na matalo. Lahat tayo nasaktan. Ang dami nag-absent sa mga offices. Di ba? Lahat ng tao naluluha nung
At saka yung
pinapakinggan yung
stress kay
rosas.
Ma'am Lenny, the stress, the threats,
Oo,
everything. I'm actually a
everything.
very appreciative understanding of her. Yeah.
Yeah, ang hirap. Ang hirap ng pinagdaanan niya, ang hirap ng mga atake sa kanya, ang hirap. It takes a toll in you yung ano, on you yung pamakampanya. Ang hirap. Sobrang hirap. One of the most difficult things that I've seen, I've experienced in my life, no? Ang hirap talaga, physically taxing. Intindihan ko 'yon, pero ito na 'yun eh. This is the fruit of all those hard house to house na ginawa natin, the people's campaign, trying to convince and talk to everyone, paggawa ng mga kanta, paggawa ng mga placard, pag-aambisyon at pangangarap ng isang maganda, mabuting bansa and inspiring everyone else to be in that movement. Ito, ngayon na siya nag-bear ng fruit. Tinanim natin ng 2022, ngayon siya nagbe-bear ng fruit. Nung nagbe-bear ng fruit, hayaan natin yung prutas na malaglag na lang sa sahig. Di ba dapat pinipitas yon at mini-make sure na ma-enjoy ng mga nagtanim, no? So, sa akin, ito na yun, nagtanim si VP Lenny, aanihin na po natin. And sana, sana, pitasin niya at itanim niya ulit para mas lalong dumami.
So last time when she decided to run, she was around 3 to 5%. Now surveys are suggesting that head to head she's up to 30%. She's almost 10 times more competitive than last time. And last time she ended up still winning more than 15 million votes. What do you think explains yung super jump niya? Kasi one of the biggest developments, at least I think kami ni Prof. Ranjit among others, similar read namin, is yung meeting niya with President BBM. I think that meeting, actually dalawa, di ba? Or tatlo. I think dalawa yung sa Malacanang. Pero yung talagang nag-viral is yung pink medyas moment with President.
Kulay rosa sa medyas.
I mean, that for me, I think was the really decisive moment. Now, dun you could see everyone could rally around Lenny because everyone has been paying homage to Lenny, di ba? Including Sara Duterte, controversially the other year. Si BBM na lang natira. And then BBM goes there completely smooth, seamless, effortless. You could see the president was easily charmed by her. So you could see Lenny is a person who could rally the nation across the political spectrum, di ba? Feeling ko yun, I was not endorsing the loyalist coalition necessarily. I was just saying it showed how Lenny is a transcendental figure. Sorry for the Kantian term, but na kaya niya i-transcend yung party lines and divisions and all of that. And probably that's exactly what we need at this point.
Ang kailangan kasi natin at this point, para sa akin, naniniwala ako dyan, yung tinatawag natin magnanimity, di ba? Yung laging above board, hindi bastos, hindi palengkera, kahit na nagkahagulo, wala kang masabi. Ako, honestly, yung tingin ko, kahit na yung mga ayaw kay Lenny, supposedly, hindi naman siya ayaw sa tao, ayaw siya kasi ayaw nung sinusuportahan nila, kasi kaaway nung sinusuportahan nila eh. Pero as a person, Lenny Robredo has always been proper, has always been competent, comes in prepared. 'Di ba? So wala kang masabi dun sa Alex, sa totoo lang, no? So dahil nagko-converge na yung political forces, dahil hindi siya unfairly dinidiinan ng gobyerno, dahil tinutulungan nga siya ng gobyerno para ma-achieve yung mga goals niya, no? Nakikita natin yung totoong bunga ng kanyang hard work. Grabe kasi yung paninira sa kanya noong panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte. Unfair, ah. Unfair sa lahat ng mga pinagagawa niya. Grabe ginawa niya sa OVP, pero parang tinatrato siya na lahat kung ano-ano mga pinagsasabi, no? Without that, na wala yung diin ng gobyerno ngayon, busy yung mga Duterte supporters, tapos malinaw yung ebidensya kay Sara Duterte, I think people are looking for a genuine alternative. And ang totoo namang genuine alternative sa akin palagay, Pink Forces. Di ba? Yung mga nakipaglaban talaga sa bayan. No? And it's just that Leni Robredo is the top of that list, and rightly so, because she was the principal in 2022 and hopefully she will still be by 2028.
And ito talaga last part na yan. So what about yung bigger picture? Kasi for me, even if you get the right president, andyan pa rin yung mga trapos sa Kongreso, andyan pa rin trapos sa Senado, andyan pa rin trapos sa LGU level, grabe yung dynastic hold pa rin sa Pilipinas. Um, Hindi kaya ito rin ang oportunidad na gumawa na talaga isang kilusan to run a full slate, kasama dyan si Dino sa Senate slate or sa Congress. Like, put the whole thing there. Kasi dapat day one pa lang ready na to transform the country. Grabe na pag-iwanan na tayo politically for a long time. I mean, economically, we haven't been doing as bad, to be honest. To disagree with some of our good friends, we're doing okay. Medyo nagka-catch up tayo. Pero politically, we're really behind the curve. So I was wondering if Dino, you were thinking, what is the best way na we can bring the people together, no? Ayan na naman tayo sa ano natin. Wait lang guys, ayun na naman itong mga lumang. Ayan kasi mga luma naman itong building. Ito na talaga mag-closing na ito.
Yan, naghang
Daming
kasi sinabi
reconstruction
mo
kasi
sasama tayo
dito, pare. Daming reconstruction
Oo.
kasi dito. Oh,
Sabi mo
ano,
kasi sasama sa Senate. Ayan, naghang.
ang
Oh, ito ang ano ko diyan.
yeah, yeah, anong gagawin nyo? Yung buong kilusan, buong movement, buong slate. Kasi day
Oo.
one pa lang, you have to get the ground going. Napag-iwanan talaga tayo politically eh.
Oo. Marami tayong hahabulin ha. Ang daming mga karating bansa natin have developed already. Marami kailangan tayong habulin. And tama si Lenny, it doesn't take one person. Walang savior mentality. And ang demokrasya built by everyone. No? Lahat tayo stakeholders sa demokrasya. And it's always what we call a continuing experiment. No? Pag-eksperimento tayo, pero lahat tayo kasama. Hindi nag-eksperimento isang tao. Sanay kasi mga Pilipino na may isang tao na pinag-eksperimentuhan tayo lahat. Baliktad, it has to be all of us in that experiment, stakeholders, we have to have the skin in the game. And hindi pwede, nakita naman natin, grabe yung gains ng panahon ni Pinoy, wala nang classroom backlog, yung 4Ps, yung poverty, ang laki ng binaba, no, na-improve yung education, na-improve yung literacy rate, grabe yung major infrastructures, no, et cetera, et cetera, armed forces modernization, grabe, okay yung foreign policy, okay sa West Philippine Sea, marami rin problema si Pinoy, pero grabe yung developments, pero all of the developments can be reversed in one term. Anong point ko? Ng panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte, di ba? Grabe yung reversals ng lahat. Institutions natin, economy, debt, lahat, education, educational crisis, etc., etc. I can go on and on. Bottom line is, it's not sufficient for us to have just one term. Ang aking tingin, the movement has to focus already since day one, apart from delivering first 100 days doing optics, meron kagad transition committee on how do we make sure na merong second generation at may third generation. Ang fairness forecast ko, maka 3 generations ng tayo of good governance. Grabe ang Pilipinas eh, no? 3 generations of good governance. Pero, ang tanga naman ng movement kung pipigilan pa nila after that, no? Pero natural kasi yung, ano eh, natural yung
Big and
pendulum of
zag.
power eh.
Oh.
Oo, yung ping-pong eh. Pero wag naman ang tagal doon sa kabila ng pendulum. 'Di ba? Tapos bago mabawi 3 terms, 4 terms, 'di ba? Dapat mas matagal sa good governance yung pendulum and then sige, mag-experiment ulit tayo once our institutions are strong enough to withstand such kinds of experiments. Makukuha ko kung sometimes it switches the other side para yung mga good governance will also be good governance icons, good governance forces will be kept on their toes. 'Di ba? So okay na sa akin mag-swing yung pendulum pero patagalin naman natin yung swing this time sa good governance. Ang akin, ang wishful thinking ko, 3 generations at the very least. 3 presidencies. And then we can do another experiment.
Or pwede one presidency with declare dictatorship 20 years and then we it will be a good dictatorship, our kind of dictatorship. Ayan na naman tayo eh. Mambubuking na naman tayo eh. They don't like dictators unless it's their own dictators. No, but,
Correct.
on that note, not the dictator note, I mean the note na kailangan natin ng sustained good governance. Hindi pwede one term lang, half a term lang, especially after all the damage done to our political institutions. Ako naman, what makes me optimistic is that the fact that BBM is doing BBM now, which is not going scary, crazy, etc., shows also in staying power ng aspirations ng EDSA. Shows that even someone named Ferdinand Marcos Jr. had to operate within the coordinates of Aquino, basically, EDSA constitutional order. Even on West Philippines, napansin ko, after everything, still you have a president who feels pressure to stand up to China despite all the risk and all of that. So, para sa akin, I'm optimistic that um, if you actually do your homework, even when you don't get the right presidents or you get your second and third choice, mapipilitan siya na ayusin niya. And for me, importante din you put the right people in the government regardless of who's the president kasi yung pagpatak mo ng gobyerno on a daily basis is done by secretaries, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, directors, all of those people in the bureaucracy. So kaya nga sinasabi ko, sana, while people are waiting for Lenny to make the decision, build the machine. Build and she will come, right? Build the
Yeah.
machine. Build the machine of leadership on all levels. Baka yung third three generations, pwede rin gawin na ngayon. Yung ibang future presidents, as early as now, pwede na mag-congressman, mag-governor, mag-mayor, mag-councilor, mag-vlogger, kung anong pwede nilang gawin para tumulong sa ating nation building. And in the meantime, of course, full support tayo kay Senator Robin Padilla if he wants to make the right decision for the country. But I want him to stick around a bit more. Baka mas maraming artistang hindi mananalo. I
Yeah.
want him one more cycle and then pwede na siyang umalis, di ba? It's a very instructive ano, model. Thank you so much, kapatid, Kapsat. And talk to you soon. Catch up tayo. Nako, ano, gagawa na ba tayo ng sarili natin analytics, bro? The ratings are going. Mukhang excited na. You feel optimistic, no? Knock on the wood. Justice Carpio was very excited kahapon.
I
Ronald
am.
was maliciously excited. Ikaw, bro, how do you feel?
I'm excited, and
Yun nga
I
eh.
am very positive na this is a
Knock on
doable,
the wood.
possible, very possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
remember, nung January, nagpa-panic mode ka na. Para ka rin,
Yeah.
ano eh, nung January, Robin Padilla ka eh, lalayas na rin tayo eh. Talk
Yeah.
to you, bro.
Okay.
Salamat. God
Thank
bless
you.
Attorney Dina De Leon,
God
of course,
bless.
our future great leader of the nation. Salamat.